You have been praying for a sign or an answer to your question, and you have been led to this video. Hello everyone, I am the Thehonesthierophant, and today's pick a card reading will be diving into some answers that you have been seeking clarity for. Honestly, this is a timeless message, so if you have been led here well after the upload date, that is okay. That's when you were meant to hear this message. And if everything doesn't resonate with you during this message, just leave it for the next person and take what does. But we have 3 piles to choose from. The first pile being represented by the 4 of Pentacles in the Angel Wisdom Tarot and also the pink Chalcedony crystal. Then for pile number 2, we have the Sun card in the Tarot Mucha deck with a piece of Angelite. And then for pile number 3, we have the Mirror card in the Wildwood Tarot with a piece of Black Tourmaline. Feel free to pick your pile now that you resonate with the most and allow that to guide you to the answers that you have been seeking. I can't wait to catch you in your pile. So glad that you are here and trusting me with your energies. Thank you. Hello, my pile number ones, whether you have chosen the pink Chalcedony crystal or you chosen the Angel Wisdom Tarot, welcome into your section of the video. So glad to have you here. We are trying to figure out what answers you have asked for and gaining clarity on the things that you need to know. This has been something that you have manifested, something that you have prayed for. So welcome in. We are starting off with 3 cards on the center of the table that have been flipped over so that way you can't see it. And this is from the Angel Answers Oracle. We're going to do like a fun little interactive for you. So what I would like for you to do is if you need to pause this video to be able to do this part, feel free to do so. Or if you don't think that you will enjoy this, you can skip ahead to the tarot reading itself. But I want you to ask yourself 3 questions that you are seeking clarity for and allow that to stimulate in your mind. Go ahead and process those 3 questions. Go ahead and just like thoroughly think about them and process them with the order of the oracles on the table. And we'll flip them over one by one. Like I said, if you feel like you need to pause this video, feel free to do so that way you can access your questions and just order them in however order that you want to, so that way you can have the cards flow with those questions. All right, for your first question, we'll flip over the first card and we have a peaceful resolution. So whatever you're dealing with, if you're dealing with a stressful situation, if you're dealing with a situation that seems to need some sort of closure or answer, there is going to be a peaceful resolution with the question that you're asking. All right, for the second card, whatever question you are asking, if you believe it to be, it will be. So depending on the way your mindset is shaping up, if you believe it to be that way, then it will come out that way. So if you're looking at it in a negative spotlight, then maybe it will turn out negative. If you believe that it will turn out into a positive spotlight, then it will turn out positive. So however you are viewing the situation, however you're believing what the answers are showing to you, then that's what it's going to be. And then for the third card, for your third question, we have big, happy changes. So with that being said, I just feel like there's going to be a great turn of events to your third question, and that happy changes will impact your life when it comes to the situation that you're asking about. So that's what I have for the angel answers. Let's go ahead and dive into the elemental oracle as well and see what you have been asking answers for. What has pile number 1 been manifesting, praying for? Answers, closure, clarity. What do they need to know? What is their answer? All right. We have the biome, we have the water, and we also have pressure. Interesting. All right. So we also have the 4 of Pentacles as the card on the top of the deck for the Angel Wisdom Tarot. So we are going to use these cards as kind of like a representation so far about what the story is telling us, and then we'll clarify with tarot. So we have the biome, which is the connection, water, which is creation, pressure, which is transformation, and then the 4 of Pentacles. And it says on the 4 of Pentacles, managing your resources wisely. Extremes is how you give or receive money, time, or emotion. Smart business decisions, seeing things as black and white, being charitable. All right. So I feel like what this is already talking to me is that there is some, for lack of a better word, pressure around you that can feel a bit like a moving energy. It can feel like something that's trying to encourage you to move. It's something that is trying to disrupt you from your path, I feel like, or is trying to get you out of your comfort zone. And I feel like the answers that you are potentially looking for is what could potentially be causing this, or what could potentially be the outcome of the reason why you're being disrupted or being sought after, or maybe even pushed out of your daily regimen, your routine, things of that nature. Why is the normalcy that you have been dealing with been kind of moved around or messed with or tampered with? And I think it's because what you have built around you is starting to expand, it's starting to grow. It's almost like you needing to come out of your comfort zone to be cleansed, to be purified, to be able to expand and grow. I don't think it's necessarily in a negative light. I think it's because maybe you are limiting yourself to a position to where you can't necessarily grow in what you are right now or what you have been known to be. And the environment around you that you have created, that you have allowed access to, has grown into a situation where it's trying to evolve you into your next chapter, into your next power at B. And now is the time for you to be cleansed, purified, and put into a position where you can further advance your life, further advance to the dreams and the access to those dreams that you want. All right. So let's see if we can gain some clarity from the tarot cards here. Why is pile number 1 having to change? Why is pile number 1 being moved out of their comfort zone? Okay, we have release, which is the death and rebirth card. We have the Hierophant. We have the Ten of Swords. We have the Lovers, the Empress, Page of Cups, and the Eight of Cups. Interesting. So I think, obviously, this has a lot to do with endings. Why are you having to end something? Why are you having to let go of something? And this could also just be talking about a version of yourself that you are letting go of. And it could potentially be the fact that there is a lesson involved here, or there is more of a commitment that you are having to make towards yourself, towards maybe a partner that is beside you, or someone that you are in a working relationship with. There's a bunch of variables here for that commitment of what it is, but it's almost like you are making a progression to taking care of what actually needs to be taken care of, right? And I think there's also been some neglect here, where maybe you have neglected a few things around you. That could also be yourself. That could also be the commitment that you are committed to. That could also be things that you have felt were staying in its own path. Maybe you have felt like, okay, this person over here, I've always treated them this way. I've always taken care of them this way. And everything seems normal. But there might be some layers underneath that where even though everything has been, it stayed the same, there could be some evolvement there. There can be some progression there that you might not see clearly. That is not a good thing for that connection. And things do evolve. Things do progress into different things all the time. So if you turn a blind eye and just feel like that scenario is always going to be the same because it always has been, doesn't mean that it actually is. So I think that's what you're being asked to do, is being able to open up to addressing things that you feel are in that routine, that are always the same, and kind of making changes to better cater to those things, or better addressing those things to make sure that they still fall in alignment with you, or that you are still getting what you were wanting out of those things, and making sure that they are representing you, making sure that they are coming back to you in fluidity and just in good correspondence. I think you are having to really kind of open up to change because there's things that are changing around you. And this change is ultimately going to pay off for you. Now, what it is that it's going to pay off for you, that could be a multitude of things. That could be strengthening a relationship. That could be strengthening a relationship with yourself. That can be strengthening a work connection. That could also be strengthening a connection with your future goals. There's a lot of things that are being asked of you here to let go of a former version of yourself or a former version of something that you have always told yourself that something was, and kind of grow it into something that can be adaptable, that can change, that can grow with when the seasons roll through. It doesn't have to be stagnant. It doesn't have to be something that is going to stay the same always. And I don't think you can limit it to be that way. Everything has to adapt to its surroundings, and it seems like you are having to do that right now as well. So with these changes, I would like to access clarity about what these changes are actually leading to you. What are these changes leading pile number 1 to? Why are they having to make these changes? Why are they having to adapt? We have the Sun card, we have the Justice card, 6 of Cups, Transformation, 9 of Cups, 10 of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. Okay, so it's almost like, basically I'm taking these 3 cards at the bottom of the 9 of Cups and the 10 of Cups and the Ace of Wands, where it seems like there's things that you are going to have to accept and use to create your future abundance. And I think that there's a lot of things that you're going to have to work with, right? Maybe some things that you have closed yourself off to potentially doing, like it could be working with someone that you said that you would never work with again, or it could be a relationship that you said that you would never take back again, or it could be something where there's a resource that you said that you would never use again, things like that. And I feel like there's going to be some things that are presented to you by spirit, by your angels, that are kind of guidance. They're kind of resources for you to take, so that way you can use those resources in making changes in your life to access the abundance that you are looking for. And I feel like it's going to bring some of these answers, and some of these things that are coming back up into your life are going to be things that are like clarity to you. They're going to be making sure that everything is well known to you, that you are not going to have any lack of clarity, that you are not going to wonder why this person came back in, what are these person's intentions, what are the reasons why these resources have been presented to me, and really kind of creating a future with this understanding of what you have been given. And I feel like you have to be putting yourself into that position to receive this information, to receive this clarity. And I kind of feel like you are building yourself up to that position to receive. And that's why you're having to kind of make these changes about yourself, about the circumstances that you're in, about willingness to try new things, willingness to change patterns, things like that, opening up your schedule potentially, and just being able to be open to receiving these things, because maybe right now you are very closed off to that point. Maybe you are scared to try to change things, and maybe you're scared to talk to that person that is very wise and can give you a lot of great information. And being able to make these changes, being able to get out of that fear, being able to put yourself first, and knowing that what you are doing is taking care of yourself in the long run, and you are prioritizing yourself, that's when things start to change. That's when things start to kind of show itself of why things needed to change for you to move forward into receiving what it is that you are wanting. So there's a lot of good change that are happening around you for you to build yourself up to the person that needs to be able to receive, to also execute with the things that you are receiving. All right. And that can come up to a bunch of things. That could be coming up to the strength aspect. That could be loving yourself, putting yourself first, prioritizing yourself, being open to reconcile with some of your past issues and allowing those past issues to be either resolved or to be put behind you, things like that. So that way these things don't stand in your way. So that way you're not standing in your own way to receive all the abundance that you are looking for, or just to finalize a goal that you have been dreaming of. So a lot of good things are transforming in your life for a really good reason. Let's see if I can access any sort of advice from Spirit for your final cards here. We have the Knight of Cups, Four of Cups, and the Ace of Swords. Okay, so you will always have say-so in the way that you want to progress things. It's not like you are some sort of robot in command of something else or some other timeline. You're still going to have the access to deny what it is that you're wanting to come forward to you. And I do think that there's going to be a lot of messages, a lot of things to consider that come your way. And I feel like there's going to be, proposals to you to help elevate yourself to the person that you need to become. And I think you have still got to come to the conclusion of being aware, having awareness, having consciousness to your surroundings, having consciousness to the reason why things are, right? And instead of looking at something as like really negative, really bitter, really like, I don't want that type of energy, maybe it's best to kind of be more conscious and aware of those things and kind of see what it's actually teaching you, kind of see what it's actually supposed to be in your life for. So that way you potentially are in a better understanding of where you're going as well. I just feel like there's a bit of uncertainty coming from you of where you're going. And I think that if you are able to kind of just be more conscious of more things and why certain scenarios happen, then a lot of those things are going to be resolved internally for you. And that way you can keep processing forward. And that way you can build better relationships. That way you can build better connections with the things that you're trying to obtain and like the goals that you're trying to obtain. So just building those better connections and acting on what is actually there versus what your mind is telling you is there, and kind of being very opinionated or very strong-willed on those opinions to not really want to see any other sort of truth. I think changes like that will be in your best interest to progress into something with more of wanting to know the truth, wanting to know the reason why things happen, okay? And if you do that, then you might actually put yourself in situations that still might be bad to you, but you understand why. Especially if it's something hard that you're putting yourself up to the test of, such as moving away from somebody or forgiving somebody, letting go of grudges, things like that. Things like that can be very hard to do, but if it's in your best interest to learn something from it, then you'll grow into where you're trying to go. Hopefully that makes sense to you, pile number one. Just allow yourself to grow with things that are potentially harmful or potentially good for you. And a mixture of those energies will allow you to be the person that you need to become to be able to access the abundance that you are looking for and the more clarity you will have on your situation. So that's what I have for you, pile number one. Hopefully that makes sense. I love you all for being here. Thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. Hope to catch you in the next reading. Take care. Hello, my pile number two. Whether you have chosen the Tarot Mucha deck with the Sun card, or if you've chosen the Angelite crystal, welcome into your section of the video. I'm going to be doing a fun little interaction at the beginning of this reading. So if you are not really interested in this part of the reading, you can skip to the tarot reading itself. And that is going to be discussing the answers or clarity that you have been praying for as a sign from Spirit. But for the interactive part of this reading, if you want to take the time to pause this video, feel free to do so. But what the three cards here on the table represent is three different questions that you might come up with in your mind. So if you need time to come up with these three questions, feel free to do so. These should be kind of like yes or no questions. So like I said, if you need to pause, feel free to do so. But let's go ahead and dive into it. For the first question that you have on your mind, what is the card going to resemble? We have no need to worry. Do not worry about the result. Do not worry about where you are headed. Do not worry about anything else other than yourself. Don't worry. You are in good hands by your angels. For the second question that you might have on your mind, we have the answer of no. It's just a straight up no answer. So whatever you were thinking of, the answer is no. For the third question, it seems to be more of a straightforward answer, kind of like the no card, but it's saying to let go. This could be talking about letting go of control, letting go of the outcome that you were seeking, letting go of someone that is interacting with you in your life, letting go of power of the situation. You are still in good hands. Your future is still very bright. All right, so now that we are done with the interactive part of the reading, we're going to jump into some more oracle cards, and we're also going to use the sun card to add on to the oracle message. So what answers or messages has pile number 2 been manifesting or praying for? What do they need to know? We have passion, the soul. We have marine life, richness. And then we have inner core, solidity. Wow, very interesting. And then, of course, we have the sun from the tarot cards. So I really do feel like this could be talking about what you're supposed to be in life, right? If you are looking to find out what your passion is supposed to be, what you are supposed to become, what is your purpose? I feel like there's a lot of clarity coming your way. I feel like there's a lot of answers coming your way. I feel like there's a lot of your inner self that is changing and growing into this richness. I feel like you are feeding your soul with the things that you are needing to represent. It's almost like if you are a water sign, you are going to be interacting more with water and giving yourself that ability to use that as your power. Or if you're a fire sign, you're being recharged by fire. Or if you're air, you're going to be, singing off the side of a mountain where, like air is just constantly blowing at you, recharging you. Or if you're earth sign, you're just grounding into nature and things like that. I just feel like there's going to be a lot of changes for you to kind of be growing into whatever element that you are. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of clarity coming from that. And there's going to be a lot of changes happening within inside of your soul to really figure out who you are. And it almost feels like there's going to be a lot of meditative energy. And with this energy of reworking your inner self, is almost like you are allowing this true, authentic, warm light to emit from you to kind of spread out into the universe. It also warms up everybody else. It's almost like the same saying as like when you know somebody that has a smile that lights up a room, or that could even be you. I just feel like that's a very similar aspect of what's going to be happening with you with this sun card. Is your inner being is changing for the better. Your inner being is following in alignment with your true calling, so that way that you can emit the light that is supposed to warm up others, that are supposed to heal others, and potentially even attract others, kind of like a beacon or a lighthouse, to allow you to kind of just spread what you're supposed to be spreading into the universe, doing your part, doing your purpose. And also with the sun, you following in alignment with your passion, with your calling, and emitting this light, you are also going to be very confident, be very sure, be very in awareness of everything, being very conscious, being very in the know, and everything's going to have clarity to it. Okay. So what is this looking like for pile number 2? What answers have they been manifesting or praying for? We have the 2 of Pentacles, the 6 of Cups, 4 of Swords, Temperance, 9 of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, Hanged Man, and the Star. Very interesting. So with that being said, I honestly feel like there's a lot of downtime right now. there's a lot of collecting your energy, collecting your thoughts, really processing the past, really processing who you are, maybe even recalling some thoughts from a young age of what you felt very called to, what you felt very tapped into. These could also be abilities and gifts that maybe you have thought were something at a young age, and maybe if you tried to express that to other people, they kind of have, told you no, you're kind of crazy, or whatever the case may be. And these are things that might be coming back up to you now of like, okay, now's the time for me to gain clarity about these things. Do I have powers? Do I understand who I am? Is there a reason why I was thinking that I should be this or should be that? And really like recalling back a lot of that energy for you to kind of feel out who that person was at a very young age, and allowing that to come up with inside you to kind of experience it now. Because I feel like there's a lot of doubt in your mind. I feel like there's a lot of unsureness about who you really are. And I feel like being able to do either a inner child work or a past life regression for yourself will allow you to kind of collect your thoughts about who you are and about the reasons why you feel the way you feel. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of downtime coming up here within your near future, or it might be something that you're dealing with now as we speak. And I just feel like there's going to be a lot of, let me make sure that what people have told me in the past is the truth. And if it's not, I need to replace that former knowing of what I thought the truth was with the actual truth about myself. And I feel like with this truth coming back up with inside you and taking it upon yourself to actually seek out real knowledge about yourself and about the world that surrounds you, this could even be a spiritual awakening of such. You are going to be very confident in who you are, and you are not going to be confused. You're not going to be wishy-washy about like, this could be that, this could be this, like you're going to have a really solid foundation underneath your feet to really feel confident and to really feel like you can reach for something obtainable in your life. Maybe things that have recently transpired in your life that hasn't worked out was because it didn't align with who you are, and maybe it was pulling you further away from who you actually are and what your true calling is. So with the Two of Wands, the Hanged Man, and the Star here, I really feel like this is a version of you kind of sourcing out things. Maybe you are sourcing out answers, maybe you're sourcing out knowledge, and maybe you are interacting with people that you feel align with, the gifts that you may feel or the direction that you are trying to go. And you are actually like communicating with these people. You are actually stepping out of your comfort zone and really trying to pick the brain of these more knowledgeable people. You are actually trying to figure out more about, your past or spirituality, or maybe even the things that you have dreamed of pursuing as a kid. And I feel like you are going to be putting yourself in situations where you can actually be someone that can obtain these truths, be someone that can obtain this knowledge. And you are going to take that back with inside yourself, maybe even like recalibrate yourself and really like figure out a game plan here, really figure out what this all means to you. How deeply do you resonate with it? How deeply do you think it's going to change you? And really kind of change your outlook of yourself, outlook of the world around you. And once you get this new outlook, you're able to, like I said, figure out who you are, kind of transmit that energy of who you are, and bring in manifestations, bring in what it is that you wish for your life to be like, what it is that you wish to have in your life. And things will start going into that direction. Things will start to grow in that purity of light that it needs to. And things will start to become more promising in your life. Things will start to change for the better. Things will start to attract to you with a more positive like energy. Let's see if I can pull some more cards about what have you been praying for? What signs do you need to know? We have the Chariot, the King of Swords, and the the Five of Pentacles. Almost looks like a 9 from the way I'm sitting. But these are very interesting cards. Let me pull a couple more, actually. We got the King of Pentacles, and we also have the Ten of Wands. All right, so, yeah, I feel like there's a history of being misunderstood or not really feeling like yourself or always dealing with something that's always bothered you, such as maybe having a gift that nobody would understand, or maybe having a truth that nobody wanted to listen to, or maybe having an idea that you never really had reassurance for or someone to support you. And I kind of feel like you were supposed to go through that, because with the Chariot here, I just feel like there's a really heavy energy of like, this was your life's path. This was the path that you have kind of registered yourself for before you even came into this life. And this is something that you have kind of like contracted yourself to become, to overcome these certain challenges and this certain mindset of needing support when really you needed to kind of build your own support system, maybe even build your own kingdom, queendom, whatever you want to call it. Be the one that is the authority. Be the one that is in control of that. Be the one that kind of gives yourself that opportunity, or someone that gives you that structure. It's almost like you wanted to do it independently. It's not like you need somebody, even though I feel like you ask for help. I don't think you need the help. I think you just need to be able to feel very confident in what you truly believe within yourself. So that way you can act on it. That way you can make choices and decisions and build yourself up to being very responsible for yourself. You're the one that is responsible for everything around you. You're the person that's responsible for the things that you create. And you are the one that's in control. This is your life. This is how you want it to be. And you have the freedom and the authority and the determination to make these things how you see fit, to make these things how you want it to actually be, and have no worries about things attacking you, things coming at you. You have the ability to overcome this. You have the ability to make sure that it's the right thing for you. With the King of Swords, I just feel like this is the energy that you are having to pursue to become. This could also be in a situation of, if you are an earth sign, maybe you are being asked to become more like the air sign, or vice versa, or whatever other sign that you want to put in there. I just feel like you are being asked to become somebody that you haven't really felt like you were or that you could be, and that you are able to make sure to make the changes that you know are a fit for you, that you know resonate with you, that you know will allow you to grow in your own truth. These are the changes that you're having to make, but you've got to know what that outcome looks like for you. What does the final product look like for you? And that's what you will always move towards becoming in this lifetime. All right. So let's see if there's any sort of advice from your spirit team, angels, ancestors, anything like that. Any last thoughts? We have the Knight, or the Page of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, and the Strength card. So I feel like the entrapment of your energy, maybe what you've always told yourself, that you aren't allowed to become a certain individual that you see yourself becoming. Maybe you have given up on dreams. Maybe you felt like you weren't supported, things like that. I think this is all an illusion to your mind. This is all you not like feeling confident, you not feeling sure. You just like are the one that abandoned that mindset. You're the one that abandoned that path because maybe you weren't ready at the time. Maybe you weren't someone that was in control. Maybe you weren't someone that was grounded enough into your true authentic energy. And being able to ground yourself in your true authentic energy will give you the strength to take those barriers away, take those barriers and laugh at them at that point, because they will not have any sort of infliction on you. They will not have any sort of attachment to you, and you'll be able to abandon those things just like you had abandoned your true authentic self in the past, and you will allow yourself to grow into that. It doesn't necessarily have to be a spiritual awakening. It doesn't necessarily have to be any sort of spiritual gifts. It can literally just be you trying to obtain a dream. It's just like how some people maybe will dream about becoming an astronaut as a kid, or maybe someone that dreams to become a pilot, something like that. Like, it can be very, very simple. It doesn't necessarily have to do with anything spiritual. It could easily just be talking about something that you have dreamed up as a very young child that you have lost your way for. Maybe that is your true calling. Maybe that is something that you have been truly called to. Or it could also be branched out into a grander aspect of what you actually believe in. Maybe you have been manipulated or kind of put into a position where you believed in certain things, certain ways of living, certain religious aspects or spiritual aspects. And maybe that's not something that you felt very called to. Maybe you want to change your beliefs. Maybe you don't want to know anything about politics. Maybe you don't want to be religious, or maybe you don't want to have those same organic values as your family members or friends. Maybe you want to step out of that light and actually grow into what you believe. And that could be what you are doing here as well. But just really grounding into your organic person, your organic soul, spirit, and allowing that to eliminate all the past structures, all the past attachments, all the past illusions that kept you trapped into a lifestyle or a path that isn't you, will allow you to become happier, will allow you to become authentic, and will allow you to pursue clarity and less confusing things, and also become what you're supposed to be at the end of your life. So that's what I have for you, pile number 2. Hopefully this all resonates with you and makes perfect sense. But thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. I hope to catch you in the next reading. Take care. Hello, my pile number 3s. Whether you have chosen the mirror card from the Wildwood Tarot or whether you have chosen the black tourmaline crystal, welcome into your section of the video. We are trying to figure out what answers or clarity you have been praying for, things like that. What signs have you been wanting to receive? This is your sign. This is your message. I'm going to be doing a fun little interactive at the beginning of this reading for you. If you do not want to entertain this idea, or if you're just here specifically for the tarot reading, feel free to jump forward towards the tarot reading. If you are interested into the interactive, we're going to be doing a Angel Answers Oracle flip over, where if you want to ask 3 questions and line it up with each of the 3 cards, feel free to do so. Just take the time right now to either pause this reading or just have your questions ready. The best questions to ask are yes or no questions, but just synchronize them with each of these 3 cards. So let's go ahead and flip over them now. For the first card, for your first question, you have been given the card of Recovery. So if there is a question that you are asking here that needs you to maybe kind of pull back from worrying about this question or needing to know the answer of this question, or maybe it's a question of like you have lost something or something has already transpired and it's already finished, then it might be that you need to recover your energy, or you need to stop worrying about asking this question and kind of just recover back your energy, make sure that you're fully protected, make sure that your feelings are fully nurtured by you, things like that. For the second question we have is choose a new direction. So there might be somebody that you are asking about, or maybe there's a path or a job opportunity that you're asking about. It comes up saying choose a new direction, choose a new path for you, choose a new opportunity for you, that maybe what it is that you're asking for is not the best opportunity for you. And then for the third question, we have the answer of no. So just a straightforward no for you to that specific question. All right. So with those 3 cards out of the way, let's go ahead and move over to what it is that you really came here for. What answers or signs have you prayed for that you need clarity on? Let's see here. What is the message that you need to hear? Pile number 3. We'll pull 3 oracle cards, and we'll also use the mirror card here. We have rain, we have speed, and we have oceans. And then we also have the mirror card as the last card here. We'll use that as part of your oracle message. So what is this message saying to you, pile number 3? With rain, speed, oceans, it also says bravery, movement, and fecundity with the mirror card as well. I just feel like this is a need of change. This is a need of you being able to kind of see what needs to either be changed in yourself or see what needs to be changed in your life to really make room for you to kind of grow into the abundance that you are actually wanting to obtain. Maybe there is some growth here that you are needing to let go of, that you are needing to move away from. And maybe there is some bravery of you moving away from this. And that could be talking about why you need to recover or why you need to choose a new direction for your path, because what you are currently building, what you're currently having in your life isn't necessarily the right growth. It's not growing the right way. It's not growing with the right nutrients. It's not growing with what you need to actually gain your abundance from. You have a mindset of where your abundance needs to come from. And I feel like you are maybe pushing a square peg in a circle hole. And I don't think that's going to fit. I don't think it's something that you can match with. Whatever that relates to you, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a partnership, whether it's yourself. You could be putting yourself in a situation that's really not meant for you, and that you might need to, take on the situation of saying, hey, maybe I need to make this change. Maybe I need to move in this different direction. So there's a time of reflection here for you. What needs to be brought some closure? What needs to be changed? What needs to be grown in a new direction for you? Let's see if we can pull some tarot cards about what you have been praying for, what answers and clarity or signs you need to know. We have the Fool, the Wanderer. We have Page of Vessels, which is the Page of Cups, the Sun, the Page of Arrows, which is the Page of Swords, the Journey card, which is Death and Rebirth, Queen of Cups, the Archer, and the Moon. Guys, so we got the Sun and the Moon. There's a lot of things that you know. There's a lot of things that you are really knowing that is for you. But there's also a lot of things that you're not really seeing as like, okay, I know this is supposed to be for me at some point, but is what I'm trying to make that something actually supposed to be that something? Or is it supposed to be something else? And I kind of feel like you really tapping into your feelings, your emotions, making sure that you are present with those emotions and making sure that you understand what you are feeling, understand what is actually truthful to you. Like, are these things that I'm experiencing actually giving me the emotions that I'm feeling? Do I really feel loved? Do I feel cared for? Do I really feel nurtured? And being able to combat the false identity, being able to combat the false reality of this, illuminating the light onto these things is part of your journey. It's part of the lessons that you're supposed to learn. It's supposed to allow you to kind of grow the strength and the capability to take on these things, right? Take on the choices that you need to make, whether hard, easy, anything like that. You're supposed to have the strength to make those commitments, to make those choices, to make those actions or take those actions. And really, if you need to start over, if you need to start fresh, if you need to start a new journey, then you've got to do that for yourself if that's what you're feeling called to, if that's what you resonate with. Or if you feel like things need a fresh start in general, time to let go of some of the things that are holding you back or that are falsified in your mind. Maybe you're allowing your mind to play, these false imageries in your head. And that's what you need to really sit with and understand and really gain that clarity. And I think it really comes from your heart space, really comes from calibrating yourself with your own heart and with the true emotions that you are receiving. Maybe if there's a scenario that you can think of in your mind and ask yourself, okay, what did I tell myself I felt in that moment? And then kind of replay that moment and actually see how you actually felt realistically. And this could be a very great journal prompt for you is to really go through some of these things that maybe you have falsified in your mind and kind of see if you actually did feel that way or if you felt something else. And if you felt something else, then maybe you need to make changes on these things that you felt very clearly at the time that maybe you don't really feel as clear now in the greater picture. Maybe there's things that needs to be changed here. All right, let's see if we can pull some more cards here about what answers that you have been praying for, what signs you have been manifesting to see. We have the 8 of Bows, Page of Bows, the Forced Lovers, and the King of Arrows. And one more card, please. We have the 7 of Stones. So the 8 of Wands, the Page of Wands, the Forced Lovers, the King of Swords, and the 7 of Pentacles. So yeah, there needs to be sort of like an audit here, right? And I think this is the progression. It's almost like whenever you are working in a flower bed and you go through your flowers and you see, okay, the head on this flower is wilting, but all these other flower heads are actually doing really well. I need to pluck this head on this flower so that way the rest of the flower can do well and to grow bigger and better. I've got to let go of the things that aren't working. I've got to let go of the things that are holding the other things back. Maybe it's the self-expression. Maybe it's the actual act of feeling the true, authentic feelings that you're supposed to, right? There's some things here that are holding other things back in your timeline, and you've got to be able to find the strength, find the ability to act on taking out these things. And I feel like it's going to grow you in the connection with yourself and your authenticity, and maybe even the authenticity of your partner as well. If you're dealing with a partner, maybe there's some things that need to be cut out together, things like that. And I just really feel like this is going to grow a lot of energy for you. And the progression that you have felt, I feel like could potentially start to speed up now that you're letting go of the things that are kind of like baggage to you, that are kind of weighing you down. Instead of things that are actually supposed to be prosperous for you, you're going to grow more into that prosperous energy by letting go of the things that are harmful, that are not good for you, that you feel that negative energy for. And the energy will start to grow like this intensity within inside you. So that way you can feed that energy to make sure that things are going in a more positive direction for you, that things are actually growing into this authentic energy that represents you, that represents what you're aiming for, your dreams, things of that nature, and that you're able to actually make changes when you need to. Find the strength to make changes when you need to. Be more perceptive, be more aware, be more conscious of the things that are neglected or harmful or distasteful, any of those synonyms that you want to throw at it. These things don't need to have power in your life. They don't need to have a spot in your life, and you need to be able to grow away from it. So stay true to how you feel about something and not let yourself make it to feel a different way than what it actually does feel like, because you want it to fit. You want it to be the thing that goes in there, because maybe you still acting towards your true authentic emotions will actually bring the right things to you, or it might deliver you to the right things that are for you and that you can grow into. Let's see if we can get any final advice or messages from the universe, your angels, ancestors. What does pile number 3 need to know? We have the 5 of Cups, the 6 of Arrows, and the 10 of Bows, which is the 10 of Wands. So you are kind of being tested, right? You are kind of being brought into this progression by what you have either signed up for pre coming into this life, or whether your spirit team is contracted to help you through this, whatever the position is for you. I just feel like you are in a changing period. Things are evolving. Things are changing for a reason. And it's because this is setting you up for success. This is something that you are needing to do. You need to go through this progression to be able to receive the things that you are wanting to obtain. And even though these things are kind of a nuisance, or they're really difficult to deal with, or you're really not wanting to actually face the facts, you're not really wanting to be conscious during these things, you will get through it. You will get through it with great advice. You'll get through it with great comfort by your spirit team or other tarot readers that you might be receiving answers from. You are not going to be thrown into the fire and expect to kind of deal with it yourself. I just feel like you're well protected, you're well served, and you are going to be comforted along the way, whether you actively feel it or not. And I think that's the reason why you got to deal with your emotions. You got to resonate with your emotions so that way you can actually feel what is truly there and what's authentic to you. And I think that you are going to feel all these changes happening. You're in a very hard time period of change. There's things that are constantly changing in your life right now, and eventually you're going to get back on track. Eventually you're going to get back to where you're supposed to be, but it all starts with you. It all starts by making these choices for yourself as well, making these hard-hitting decisions to really overcome some of these obstacles that you're having to deal with, and that way progression starts to kick back up. It almost seems like you are in a position where you can control the timing a little bit here. You can either control it by not acting on these things that you're supposed to act on and delay it, or you can make it faster by actually just doing it, by ripping the Band-Aid off and just going for some of these things that you feel called to do. I feel like you have a really fine control of how things can progress. How long do you want to sit in this period of change? How long do you want to sit in this position of being uncomfortable with change? You have choices here. You have, free will to be able to make better changes for yourself or having time on your side again. How long do you want to sit with these energies, or how fast do you want to go with it? That is all up to you, pile number 3. And like I said, you're guided, protected, everything like that. You're being served very well. You're going through the things that you're supposed to. But all this information is on your side now. What are you willing to deal with? What are you willing to do with it? That's what you got to ask yourself. How can you act on your true feelings? That's what I got for you. Hopefully this message resonates with you. If this message did resonate with you, maybe the message of what trick or treat is coming your way during this Halloween season, or what is your shadow crying out to tell you, feel free to click on these 2 videos. Take care.